If you want ribs, do you try Memphis, Kansas City, or Texas? For pizza, is it New York or Chicago? Well, the jury's still out, I guess. But if you're looking for a pasty, it's pretty simple. You'd head straight for the Upper Peninsula. The pasty wasn't invented here, and you certainly can find it in other places, but probably no other area is so directly associated with this tasty crust-wrapped culinary immigrant. Today I'm in Crystal Falls, and I wasn't leaving town without a stop at Nylund's Foods to find out more about this portable piece of UP culture.
Pasty started in Cornwall, England, and what the Cornish people are known for is mining. So they came over here and immigrated over to the United States and ended up in all the iron mines in the UP and Wisconsin and Minnesota. So everywhere there was a Cornish person, they had pasties. And pretty soon the Finnish and the Italian started making their own version of pasties than that. There's actually more pasty shops in Sacramento, California than there is in the UP, just because of the gold mining out there. When the gold miners went out there, well, they were also Cornish, and they took the pasties with them. Actually my father started making pasties in the 60s. He owned a grocery store, a little grocery store up in Republic, Michigan. Great mining town, and any great mining town is pasties. Some real nice Finnish ladies up there taught them how to make pasties, and so ever we've been in the groceries business, we've carried this forward with us. So we decided to jump into the pasty business. And we've been in that 14 years from now. We're supplying, I think right now we're into 7 states, pretty much the Midwest and that, which Michigan and Wisconsin are our biggest customers in that. So this is our potato peeler. And our potato peeler, we peel on the average day, we'll run 1,500 pounds of potatoes through here. We buy all our potatoes locally. They're Russet Burbank. We buy them from Johnson's out here, out in Mansfield here, close to Crystal Falls. They are right now, currently, I think he told me he's growing between 30 and 40 acres of potatoes for us. We peel the potatoes in this peeler. It basically flops the potatoes around, and there's an abrasive in here, and it rubs it against the wall. As it spins, it takes a piece of the peeling off at a time. From the peeler, we run it into this commercial dicer here. This dices our potatoes. It'll dice probably up to 100 pounds a minute. From that process, we will go over to our mixer. We add potatoes, we add onions, we add carrots, we add the special 7 secret spices. Add the beef to it. It's a USDA choice beef, and we'll run it out. This is our dough mixer here. We add flour and shortening and water and salt basically, and mix it and make pasty crust like anybody else, but we make 500 pounds at a time. From there, the dough is ran into a dough divider. It cuts the dough into hockey puck sizes. This will cut 120 pieces of dough a minute. From that, it'll be put on baking pans and stacked. From there, we run it up to the head of our production line here. We put the pieces of dough on this double pass dough divider here and roll it out flat. And from there, it comes down a series of conveyors to the main conveyors. And from there, the guy that's scooping the mix puts a scoop of mix onto the pasty. At one time, we were automated, where we had an automatic machine with electric eyes to do this process. Actually, the machine couldn't think enough, where it was better to put an actual person here that could sense if our mix was a little too wet or a little too dry, because potatoes and onions and beef are not always the same. More moisture, less moisture. So this was a very important part to have a thinking machine, and that would be a human. So it runs down here, down the assembly line to a series of pasty makers. We make 2, 6, 8, and 12, and 16-ounce pasties. So they'll be making various different sizes. From there, they'll put the pasty back on the conveyor, conveyor comes back down to a panner. The panner puts the pasties on a pan, puts the pasty pans on a rack, and from that point forward, the racks go into a rotating rack oven. And the rotating rack ovens, we have 2 of them. We have the capacity to cook 1,000 pasties every half hour. So if we want to, we can cook 2,000 pasties per hour. We cook them to 168 degrees. And what we do, we cook all the meat in the pasty to make sure it's a sterile product. Pasty is probably from a food safety perspective, probably one of the safest products out there, because we cook it and then we tell the consumer to cook it again. From the oven, we take them out there. We have a series of cooling steps. We use filtered outside ambient air. So the colder it is, the happier we are outside. So I think it's must be 25 below out there today. And we're real happy about that. The reason why there's crimped on pasty and why it's as big as it is basically it was a handle, because the miners would take these down into the underground iron mines, and at that time there was a lot of arsenic in the mine. So what the miner would do, he would eat the pasty down to the crust, because his fingers potentially had arsenic in them, and then he would throw away the rest of the pasty because odds are it was contaminated with arsenic. We make 6 different varieties of pasties. We make a beef with rutabaga, we make a chicken, we make an Italian, we're currently making a Mexican, and we make a Cornish. Our pasty is probably as close to I can't say a health food, but it's meat and potatoes, onions and carrots. There's no MSG. There's no trans fat. We try and make it as totally healthy as possible. We sell a lot of pasties to the schools, and to get pasties into schools, they're quite rigid with their standards right now to do that. We're very proud that we are able to sell to them. Everybody I talk to thinks that there's not much competition in the pasty business, but I have to compete with everybody's grandmother that's been making pasties for 60 years. So if somebody tells me that my pasty is almost as good as their grandmother's, that's probably the biggest compliment I probably could ever have. We're inspected by the USDA. The good thing about USDA is that you get all the federal holidays off, like deer season and walleye season and bird season. We typically make anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 pasties per day. We like to work 2 days a week. Probably strange, but we don't really care to grow anymore. We're very happy with our volume because it creates a life for us. You can have all the money in the world, but you only have so much time on this earth, so it's having Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off is a pretty good thing.